Welcome to ScaleUp Radio Shorts, the podcast that brings you bite-sized insights from the brightest minds in business. I'm Kevin Brent.
And I'm Granger Forson. We're the founders of Smart 90, the proven 90-day execution system for scaling businesses.
In each episode of ScaleUp Radio Shorts, we delve into conversations with entrepreneurs and business leaders who have navigated the challenges and triumphs of scaling up. We dissect their journeys, extract key takeaways, and offer actionable advice you can implement in your own business.
Today, we're focusing on two inspiring stories from our ScaleUp Radio archives. Sarah Simons, founder of British Baby Box, and Nick Hunt, co-founder and chief beer officer of Cotswold Lakes Brew Co. While their businesses operate in completely different sectors, they share a common thread, a deep commitment to purpose and community.
We'll compare and contrast their approaches to building successful businesses, from balancing purpose and profit to navigating the complexities of team building and financial sustainability. Get ready to uncover invaluable lessons you can apply to your own scaling journey. Let's start with Sarah Simons and British Baby Box. Sarah's story is incredibly compelling. She identified a real need, inspired by the Finnish baby box tradition, and turned it into a thriving business with a powerful social mission.
Absolutely. British Baby Box provides essential items for newborns in a safe sleep space, a cardboard box, addressing a critical need for many families, especially those experiencing financial hardship. It's a fantastic example of a business model that effectively blends social impact with commercial success. Sarah's passion for supporting vulnerable families and her determination to tackle child poverty are truly inspiring.
Now let's move on to Nick Hunt and Cotswold Lakes Brew Co. Nick's background is in finance, a world away from brewing, but he had a burning desire to create a purpose-driven business.
And that's exactly what he did. Cotswold Lakes Brew Co. isn't just about making great beer, it's about building community, fostering positive change, and being a force for good. Their commitment to sustainability, using surplus bread in their brewing process, and focusing on local partnerships is truly impressive. They've created a real hub for the local community.
It's fascinating to see how both Sarah and Nick prioritize purpose in their businesses, albeit in different ways. Sarah's driven by a powerful social mission to support vulnerable families, while Nick focuses on building a strong community and promoting positive change through his brewery.
Absolutely. And the big question is, how do they balance that strong sense of purpose with the need to make a profit? It's a challenge many businesses face, especially those with a social mission. Sometimes, the focus on doing good can overshadow the financial realities of running a successful business.
Sarah addressed this by strategically shifting her focus from direct-to-consumer sales to wholesale partnerships with government and local councils. This not only provided much-needed credibility, but also opened doors to larger-scale impact and financial stability.
Nick, on the other hand, believes in the power of and rather than or. He's convinced that doing good things with integrity, building strong relationships, and focusing on community will naturally lead to profitability. It's a very holistic approach.
And I think that's a key takeaway for our listeners. Purpose and profit don't have to be mutually exclusive. In fact, they can reinforce each other. When your values are aligned with your business practices, you create a strong foundation for both social impact and financial success. Let's move on to the topic of planning and adaptability. Both Sarah and Nick emphasize the importance of having a plan, but also being willing to deviate from it when necessary.
Yes, Sarah talked about the need to blag it and not be afraid to ask for help. This resourceful approach clearly helped her navigate the early stages of her business when she was learning as she went. She even managed to convince the British Standards Institution to develop the first ever safety standard for baby boxes. Talk about bold planning and execution.
And Nick, despite his corporate background in financial services, also embraced a willingness to experiment. He and his team adopted a test and learn approach, trying different events, beers, and collaborations. They weren't afraid to cut things that weren't working, even if it meant deviating from the initial plan.
That resonates with the Smart 90 methodology, doesn't it, Kevin? Having a clear 90-day plan is crucial, but so is the ability to pivot and adapt as you gather new information and learn from your experiences. It's not about rigidly sticking to a plan, but using it as a framework to guide your actions and decisions.
Exactly. Both Sarah and Nick demonstrated that. Sarah's initial plan focused on direct sales, but she adapted when she saw the opportunity to partner with government and councils for greater impact. Nick's initial tap room was in a barn because they didn't yet have their own brewery. They adapted, tested, and refined their vision before investing in a permanent space.
And both faced challenges. Sarah had to overcome the stigma associated with putting babies in cardboard boxes, while Nick had a disastrous experience scaling up a hazy pale ale recipe too quickly. But they learned from those experiences and adjusted their strategies accordingly. It's a testament to the importance of resilience and a growth mindset.
Building a strong team and engaging with the community were also key themes in both interviews. Sarah's experience with government contracts and local councils is a great example of how strategic partnerships can scale a business and its impact.
Absolutely. Initially, Sarah focused on direct-to-consumer sales, but she realized that partnering with government and councils would allow her to reach a much wider audience and achieve her social mission of providing safe sleeping spaces for babies. It was a bold move that required her to navigate complex tendering processes and build relationships with key stakeholders.
And it paid off. By securing government contracts, British Baby Box gained credibility and established itself as a trusted provider. This, in turn, opened doors to partnerships with councils and other charitable organisations, further expanding their reach and impact. It's a great lesson in leveraging strategic partnerships for growth and social impact.
In contrast, Nick's approach to building a team and community was very grassroots. He started with a group of volunteers, many of whom were friends and colleagues, who shared his passion for craft beer and his vision of a purpose-driven business.
It's a testament to the power of shared values and vision. Nick emphasised that they never had to actively recruit. People were drawn to Cotswold Lakes Brew Co because they believed in what they were doing and wanted to be a part of it. It created a strong sense of community from the very beginning.
And that community extended beyond the team to the local area. Nick described the taproom as a hub for bringing people together, hosting events for charitable groups, sustainability organisations, and even birthday parties and weddings. It's a fantastic example of how a business can become an integral part of its community.
It's interesting to see the different approaches taken by Sarah and Nick, but both achieved remarkable success in building their teams and engaging with their communities. Sarah leveraged strategic partnerships for scale and social impact, while Nick built a strong community organically through shared values and a focus on local engagement. Both are valuable lessons for any business looking to scale. Let's shift gears now and talk about the financial side of things. Cash flow and financial sustainability are critical for any business, especially in the challenging economic climate we're in. Both Sarah and Nick touched on the financial hurdles they've faced. Sarah mentioned the importance of planning and having a reference point, even while acknowledging the need to adapt. Nick spoke about the challenges of cash flow management in a small business, especially with lumpy revenue streams and unexpected expenses.
It's a reality for so many businesses, that delicate balancing act between having a plan and being willing to deviate from it. Sarah's story highlights the importance of being financially savvy, even while pursuing a social mission. She recognized the need for a sustainable business model to achieve her long-term goals, and that's where the partnerships with the government and local councils played a vital role. Those contracts provided a steady stream of revenue and the credibility needed to attract further investment.
Exactly. And Nick's experience with Cotswold Lakes Brew Co underscores the importance of managing cash flow effectively, particularly in a seasonal business like the drinks industry. He talked about the shock of experiencing the lumpiness of cash flow in a small business after coming from a background in wealth management where he was dealing with much larger numbers.
He also mentioned the unexpected expenses that can arise, like equipment breakdowns. Those kinds of things can really throw a wrench in the works, especially for a small business. It reinforces the need for a financial buffer and a willingness to adapt and find creative solutions. Nick's emphasis on constantly reviewing and adjusting their plans being open to cutting things that aren't working, and finding year-round revenue streams through partnerships are all valuable lessons in navigating the financial challenges of running a small business.
So, Granger, reflecting on these conversations, what are some of the key takeaways that stand out to you?
Well, Kevin, both Sarah and Nick's stories really emphasize the power of purpose. Having a clear why, whether it's a social mission like Sarah's or a force for good like Nick's, provides a strong foundation for building a successful business. It gives you that driving force, that North Star to guide your decisions, especially when things get tough.
Absolutely. And tied to that purpose is the importance of adaptability. Both Sarah and Nick demonstrated a willingness to experiment, to adapt their plans, and to pivot when necessary. They weren't afraid to try new things, even if it meant stepping outside their comfort zones.
Exactly. And that ties into the importance of community engagement. Sarah's success with British Baby Box wouldn't have been possible without the support of government contracts, local councils, and partnerships with organisations like baby banks. Nick's focus on building a strong local community around Cotswold Lakes Brew Co, through events, partnerships, and a genuine commitment to the local area, is another great example of the power of community. It's not just about selling a product, it's about building relationships and creating a shared experience.
That's a great summary, Granger. A huge thank you to both Sarah Simons and Nick Hunt for sharing their inspiring stories with us today. They are true examples of entrepreneurs who are scaling up their businesses with purpose, passion, and a commitment to making a positive impact.
Absolutely, and thank you our listeners for tuning in to another episode of ScaleUp Radio Shorts, brought to you by Smart 90. Remember, Smart 90 is the proven 90-day execution system that can help you scale your business with confidence.
If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe to ScaleUp Radio Shorts so you don't miss out on future inspiring conversations with entrepreneurs who are scaling up. And don't forget to share this episode with anyone you think might benefit from these insights. You can listen to the full interviews by searching for ScaleUp Radio wherever you like to listen to your podcasts. Details are in the show notes.
And if you have a moment, please leave us a review. We'd love to hear your thoughts on the show and any guests you'd like us to feature in the future. Until next time, keep scaling up.